Time for us to evaluate a different layout for Monaco and create some overtaking opportunities, some wider paths.
I agree.
Because anyone who's been to Monaco over the years will notice how much land has been reclaimed out in the harbour. There's construction going on everywhere, and maybe there's a point where you need to go and just elongate the lap. Come down into Portier, turn left maybe, or go out into that new development there, come back into the tunnel. I don't know, just create some part of the track which is wider.
You can widen the Nouvelle chicane surely as well.
Yeah, but it needs, I think, more. It needs another loop added somewhere just to increase the distance and introduce some wider paths. You still need to have, but really the majority of the performance is found back at the factory.
And it's a factory that you can understand why they're going to be working on 2026. And yeah, I said yesterday when you weren't here, one team principal in the midfield telling me this year, look, we can devote everything for this season, but realistically we're probably going to gain one place.
Yeah.
So what's the point when we'll then go backwards 4 steps next year?
And if you were Alpine, if you were, you're changing engine supply, you need to get the heat exchange numbers from Mercedes, you need to get the cooling systems, you need to get the integration of the new power units and batteries in. There's an awful lot of work for 2026. If you're sitting there as Flavio Briatore and David Sanchez leading the technical side, you go, well, this year is what it is, we'll just power on, but let's hit the ground running next year.
It's interesting, you mentioned David Sanchez as the Chief Technical Officer. This is the first Alpine that's had his influence, his input from the outset. Yeah. So, big year for David Sanchez.
Yeah, and I think, but that is a really good example, actually, I think, of a team who have optimized or tried to optimize the car with setup. Yeah. If you look at last year, they this guy in particular, Gasly, the second half of last year, some brilliant qualifying and really came on strong towards the last 1/3. But that came from unlocking setup and performance and just getting the car more dialed in. So that was a good example. I think David Sanchez, from everything I'm hearing from people at Enstone, both the race team and factory, they've been really impressed with him. They say he's offered a dose of pragmatism and practical thinking of going, right, these are our capabilities. Let's not, yes, we'd love to be like Red Bull and be able to, or Mercedes, and produce this and the other, but actually this is where our capabilities are. This is what our facilities are. This is what our personnel headcount is. Let's try and do this. Let's be sensible.
No, and David Sanchez comes with a reputation, a good reputation too. Yep. Was at Ferrari, went to McLaren, quickly found that there was no room at the inn really for him. So McLaren let him go, and he ends up at Alpine with probably a more responsibility and more scope for his talents.
Well, McLaren were spoiled for choice, weren't they? Because I think they, am I right in thinking they got David Sanchez before they realised how quickly they'd get Rob Marshall.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it was just too many people at the top. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
No, very good point. We have 16 minutes left of this morning session.